Alrighty, welcome back everyone. It is LaughNgamez here. I'm back with another Starcraft 2 1 versus 1 bot AI cast. We have got ourselves what should be a good one here today, as I previously had cast VeTerran taking on Eris, and it was a very close game, so I thought I'd cast VeTerran taking on the second highest ranked Zerg bot to see how it'll look. And so we're on the map to Gresvin, the AI edition. We've got Caninana in the top left, the Zerg bot with the best late game control, I'll say. Then VeTerran, quite an aggressive Terran bio-based bot, which isn't something that all the Terran bots do. And so yeah, ladies and gentlemen, it's been a couple days since I've had a chance to sit down and record one of these, but I'm always excited to, so make sure you guys go ahead and slap that like button. If we can go for 17 likes on this video, that would be amazing. Leave a comment down below as well saying more bots if you do want to see more of these bots, as that helps with the YouTube algorithm. Subscribe if you're not. Join the Discord, which is linked down below, and if you guys do want to play versus these bots, I did add a link to the description. I'm going to try and do that for most of my videos in the future. We have got a double gas opening for VeTerran here, and then Caninana just going for its usual opening with its early spawning pool early, and then into the hatchery. It plays it a little bit safer than, say, Eris does. And yeah, double gas is very tech focused for VeTerran, so we'll see what sort of strategy it's going to go for here. This is a lot of gas it's mining off of one base, no Reaper yet, and we'll see. Is it going to make Marines? So yeah, just a single, two Marines for starters, so it could be a bit of a one base pressure coming out of VeTerran, potentially. And then this SCV scout is going to get chased on home by these Lings. That SCV is in a bit of a race. The two Marines will pop out, be able to help it out though. Caninana saying Marine 138, Roach 138, so I guess seeing those Marines, it says I need some units. As a reaction program by the developer there. These two Marines are going to be able to kill off that Overlord. That could throw a bit of a wrench into the plans of Caninana. And that Overlord does die. And then we've got Link speed on the way, just two bases for now for Caninana, so I imagine it should be fine as long as it stays on two bases. While this is going on, VeTerran does have up that factory, so it's able to get out a siege tank. It is the tank push bot, and these always are met with varying degrees of success, at least against these top bots. So we'll see whether Caninana is going to be able to defend this or not. The starport is now on the way for a VeTerran, about to finish up, so it can make a medivac to go with this. So a very basic 1-1-1 tank push, about as aggressive as you can get as a Terran without proxying your racks. And so Caninana does already have that burrow on the way, so it will be able to burrow its roaches and keep them alive. However, that's not going to stop VeTerran from moving on out. One tank is out, a second one on the way. That starport going to join up with these Marines, and yeah, all of a sudden Caninana is going to be having to go for a very early defense. Seeing a siege tank, actually, I'm not sure. It must have been a Ling that ran forward that actually identified that siege tank. Command center is now on the way for VeTerran, so just an aggressive opening going into a bit of macro behind it. There's another scouting Ling, runs on by, sees the command center. Gonna see another siege tank. And now we have got these Marines just charging on in for VeTerran. The medivac going to join up with these relatively soon. The Marines are kiting back against the Lings so far. That medivac can start healing up as the tank is now sieged up, so it can start shooting away. However, the Marines are actually retreating. This is a recurring problem we're seeing for VeTerran, as its Marines retreat, whereas the tanks do not. And the tanks cannot be picked up by that medivac. They cannot be evacuated by any other means. A Roach is going to go ahead and stay alive as it burrows and unburrows, getting great efficiency there. The siege tank shooting away on these Roaches. However, the burrow mechanic allowing very few units to actually die. This means Caninana will hold on and defend against this one base pressure. While this is going on, VeTerran is getting up a bunker at its natural. Going to really secure up this location. That tank is not evacuated properly and does perish. So all in all, I'll say VeTerran did not get enough done with that push that it needed to, as Caninana now basically has the license to macro as much as it wants. And as well as a Terran bot can macro, the Zerg bots are just absolute monsters. We do see a scan go down. I mean, Roach Warren gets identified, Hatchery making queens still. Caninana's third was delayed heavily, so that's a bit of a significant blow to its economy. So 2 base against 2 base, not bad for the Terran. There is the Raven out for VeTerran, which is very important when it comes to dealing with these burrowed units. And it is just getting out Combat Shield. I'm curious to see if VeTerran's going to try and move out a little bit later for another push. In fact, I'm almost certain that it will, as that's kind of just how the bot is designed. Now, how successful that will be is a different question entirely. We have got these roaches still just doing their thing. Third hatchery on the way up for the Zerg. An armory is on the way for VeTerran, potentially to get vehicle plating, I want to say, is what it tends to go for. Just to make those medivacs and whatnot a little bit more tanky. Caninana getting up a layer. And yeah, the game is just turning into respectful macro. We'll see if another tank gets churned out by VeTerran, as the tanks really are the linchpin of these pushes it goes for. And with a Raven to actually kill off roaches that burrow and don't just heal on up, the attack could have a lot more success. The +1 will be really significant. The combat shield really significant for any potential future engagement. And there we have another Widowmine on the way. There's a tank following it up. Scouting Ling gets deleted, as Caninana is now on a quest to get more information, as it's fanning out overlords all over the place. Just wanting to have entire map vision. We did see some of those chat tags from the bot author saying like, oh yeah, there's an expansion, so play off that information. Creep spread is starting to go hard. Fourth hatchery on the way. That's where the Zerg economy really starts to take off. Once that fourth is done, it's just drone city. Third command center is going up for the Terran, however. And yeah, these two bots have kind of just agreed to macro up a little bit, which is, I think, a good thing for Caninana. VeTerran, it's a little bit scary. It has shown us that it's got some good late-game depth. However, Caninana is an absolute late-game beast. So this third command center is getting established, a bunker being placed at the front. I definitely love that. Overseers flying around. Changelings getting killed off. That's the thing about unlimited bot APM. You can be flying around with Overseers non-stop, and that is exactly what Caninana is doing to have pretty much perfect information. Vikings are zoning away those Overseers. They don't want to chase too far out, though, as there is a lot of Zerg waiting. We've now got that third command center about to finish on up. And Caninana's got its fourth on the way up. As soon as the fourth is done, we see the fifth get started. That fourth is already saturated. This bot is going to be on like 90 drones in like a minute, which is the scary thing from these Zerg bots. There we see 11 more drones on the way. All the upgrades starting to roll as the production booms for the Zerg. I think for VeTerran's sake, it's going to have to start going for a push sooner rather than later in order to try and kill the Zerg before it just reaches that maxed out with a massive bank sort of thing. And we do see all the Marines unload from the bunker, so here we have it, a big old push coming from VeTerran as it starts to move out onto the map. The Raven leading the charge, going to allow this creep to actually get cleaned up. That's really darn important. We see Infestors get tagged, Swarm Hosts get tagged. I'm not sure what that's about. I don't think I've seen Caninana make Swarm Host before. We are seeing the Zerg actually just surge forward, attacking into VeTerran. The bio is just retreating, not actually shooting. That is really problematic as Caninana just surges forward and destroys a massive portion of the Terran army. As, yeah, Caninana did not wait at all for that attack to reach it. It said, you know what? I'm bringing the fight to you, VeTerran, and it killed off so many Marines there. Also got a tank or two, which is really important. It did bleed off a good number of Lings in that attack, however, that was quite a big surge forward by the Zerg, and that's going to have bought it a good amount of time. I'm curious to see if Veteran's going to re-up and go for another attack, or whether it'll sit back a bit longer. Yeah, Veteran knocked down to only 22 Marines. It's got a decent-sized army still. Banshee's on the way now. Vikings also present to shoot on these Overseers non-stop. However, we do see Infestors are now on the way. There's the potential for the big fungal growth from Caninana. All the while, a Fusion Core is going up for Veteran. A Fusion Core, an attempt at a 4th base. We'll see if it can kind of get past its base block that we've seen Veteran have to deal with before. These burrowed units at its expansions. Whether that Raven will reposition to allow that command center to be built. There we see it. Oh, can't build it there. Can't build it there. Gotta try again. And yeah, we are seeing Veteran have a hard time get up this expansion. No scan or anything to clean this up. The Overseer is just diving in and out. May actually be messing with the unit pathing for the Zerg. Or for the Terran, pardon me. As it is constantly moving out. There's a bunch of Widowmines that burrow. They are going to get some, or get one shot off, and actually a few more go off and just massacre all those Zerglings. So Veteran taking an okay trade. We'll see if it is able to get up another base. Vikings flying over Hydras is a bit risky. Roaches are trying to push forward. However, there is detection, so they can all be killed. A scan gets dropped. There is no 4th base going up for Veteran just yet. We've got double battle cruisers on the way for the Terran now, and it's actually starting to push on out towards the Zerg. The Terran has a supply lead, so there's the potential for big damage here, as out goes Veteran going for its almost fanatical push that it likes to go for. The Marine Micro is pretty good for Veteran. That first engagement it was not, however, it is starting to actually get some damage done onto these Zerg units. The tanks are sieged up in the back, and there is a lot of siege tank in the back as that Zerg army gets shredded a little bit. Corruptors aren't going to help out too much against all this Terran bio, and as long as there's enough Marines and enough of a buffer being produced here, then Veteran should be able to keep on pushing. We have actually seen some Swarm Hosts get added in for Caninana. That's free, well, as long as it keeps casting those locusts, that is some free damage potentially. Whether it's enough though to actually stop this Terran pushing forward is the question. The tanks are actually moving forward, pushing towards this 5th base, messing with the mining of Caninana. Supplies are relatively equal. There's that god tier Neural Parasite taking out one of the siege tanks of Veteran by Caninana, and Veteran did split up its army a little bit, so it's actually kind of getting pushed away. And now look, another Neural Parasite goes down on the siege tank of Veteran, so both fronts have been cleaned up for now. However, the battle cruisers are now in the mix. The problem is, there's going to be that Neural Parasite, and there it is on that battle cruiser, potentially going to lead to a dead BC, and I think it is going to be a dead battle cruiser. So, yeah, if Veteran had a hard time dealing with Eris's late game, Caninana is going to be quite scary. We're also seeing just a failure to secure a 4th base once again by Veteran. Yeah, that's pretty problematic for the Terran bot, as it is a darn good late game bot. It just never takes a 4th base because it just keeps getting blocked by a single Zergling, and I'm amazed that that hasn't been corrected. Now we are seeing these Hellbats and Marines all over the place still for Veteran. Battlecruiser teleports out to get healed on up. There is still that burrowed Zergling there. No scan going down. The Raven perished. Or no, the Raven is still alive, just at the back getting repaired. And yeah, no expansion going up for Veteran. So we are going to see what I think is Veteran just start to eventually run out of resources. It's taking some actually pretty darn good trades with these siege tanks, despite the mass fungal growth going down from the Zerg. But if it can never get up a 4th base, it simply will run out of steam. I mean, like, the Raven's so close, but the logic just isn't there to assign a couple of units to go clean up the Ling. Locusts are getting on top, actually killing off one of the siege tanks, and the Zerg is gonna push on in here, it looks like, as Veteran is starting to fall down in that supply. Neural Parasite going down on the Banshee by Caninana, securing the kill. The Neurals are so darn good for Caninana. I never get tired of seeing them. Look at that, a Banshee getting neural parasited once more. The Vikings are instantly like, traitor, shoot it down. And that is exactly what they do. We see more corruptors on the way versus the production of VeTerran really falling off. The main mined out, the natural starting to mine out. And yeah, no fourth base being taken. And we've seen in a lot of these bot games that that really is the most important thing. Battlecruiser does get off a Yamato cannon, however it's knurled. It's getting shot by the Zerg units, getting shot by the Terran units. And that Ling did get killed off at some point. I'm not sure what actually killed it. I guess maybe the Raven flew far enough north. However, we may be past that point as there is already creep pushing forward to that expansion. Scans continuously get dropped on the front, I guess, to see the burrowed units. But yeah, no expansion. And I'm not sure if the author of VeTerran Revived is actually someone that watches these videos, but let me know when that clearing of expansions bug gets taken care of, and I will certainly cast more VeTerran games. However, until then, it is kind of just a sad ending. But if it had got up a fourth base here, I mean, VeTerran could have kept on trading, I imagine, as it's getting actually some decent efficiency. But you can't just fight unlimited Zerg bases with just 3 Terran bases. So we once again see the real MVP being the single burrowed Zerglings. As, yeah, VeTerran slowly running out of supply as it just loses more and more units that it can't replace. It's already given up trying to take that base, I guess probably because it's so broke at this point. And yeah, that is a bit unfortunate that this is how that game's going to go. I will keep an eye on VeTerran to see if it does get updated in order to potentially fix that, so then we can see if it has some more late game matches. Maybe I'll cast VeTerran versus like another late game bot, like one of the other Terrans, or VeTerran against, say, Shark bot, as then we don't have to deal with the bases being blocked by the Zerg, and I'm sure it does very well in that case. So yeah, ladies and gentlemen, if you enjoyed this one, hit that like button, subscribe to the channel if you haven't already, leave a comment saying more bots, or say more fourth bases in the comments down below. Subscribe if you haven't already, and if you do want to support this content, consider becoming a YouTube member. That is a great way to do that. And yeah, I know some of you may say, why are you talking about the game being over when there's still an army for VeTerran? But it's like, I've cast a few of these games at this point. Some that I haven't even uploaded to the channel, just because I'm like, it's kind of obvious when one bot doesn't expand. This game, though, VeTerran still does get off impressive pushes, even just off of 3 bases. It got a decent push going against Caninana, and yeah, we'll keep an eye on it, see if it ever gets a 4th base in some games, or even a 5th. The 5th is the dream, but we'll just look at a 4th. WCS, well, I guess not WCS, ESL Pro Tour is going to be going on soon with an event in America, so I'll be watching that for some pro Starcraft, and yeah, join the Discord if you want to chat about that. I'll see you guys next time. Thanks so much for tuning in.